I use ChatGPT and asking it all kinds of philosophical questions. It's like the Library of Alexandria times a million in our pockets. We back, baby! Woo! Woo! For those not watching on YouTube, double dab. Double dab because we're having a good morning here in LA. Windy outside, kind of cold, a little rainy. And that's a good morning because, well, certainly takes some of the distracting things that I could be doing off the table. That's a silver lining to that. Today's reflection, this also makes for a great morning. And this reflection is an interesting one because it incorporates one of the craziest innovations in the last 1,000 years. And that is the ascension of AI in our lives. Something like ChatGPT. I mentioned on previous episodes that one of the crazier experiences I had in my life was working on a universal basic income project with Sam Altman and who's the co-founder of OpenAI. And we would do it, this was 8 years ago. We would do it in their offices for OpenAI. And I remember which was at the time just another research project. And I remember being like, dude, we're so far away from AI. This is kind of so silly, but we're on the precipice of maybe a game-changing discovery within universal basic income. So we're meeting there each month, and I was thinking that, and wow, it's as someone that invests in startups, tries to see the tea leaves for the future and what's about to happen, it was such a cool experience to be so wrong. I was going into the offices of the most game-changing company of the last maybe 50 years. Now, I don't know if they're going to be the ultimate winners, but they established this structural approach to artificial intelligence that now every other company is copying. They basically, it's up there with splitting the atom with how crazy this innovation has become, will become for the world. And the whole time, I was thinking, nope, there's no way they're going to do it. And our universal basic income project, that research project, didn't really go anywhere. So I was very, very wrong. But luckily, it is an innovation that all of us get to benefit from. You basically have the world's smartest mentor, the best library humans have ever created in our pockets with something like ChatGPT, especially if you pay for the Plus and the Pro versions. You can get with their product today, as we're recording this, there's a product called Deep Research, which is PhD level research that can be done in 6, 7, 8 minutes, canvassing any number of topics and canvassing nearly all information that humans have compiled on that topic. It is pretty wild. Still can be wrong, just like any PhD student can be wrong on whatever they're researching. But you can get 70%, 75% directionally correct information within 6 minutes on nearly any topic, which is, that is just so insane. Again, it's hard to overstate how crazy this innovation is and will become. So naturally, I use ChatGPT and asking it all kinds of philosophical questions. It's like the Library of Alexandria times a million in our pockets. So why not consult it? Even when it, again, can be wrong, especially when you can tap into their pro version, like I said, Deep Research, which I think anyone can use now, like 5 times a week or something. But when it first came out a few weeks ago, I used it not only on my own account. I asked it, knowing everything that you know with a culmination of all human knowledge and information, what is a single philosophy that you think describes the physical and metaphysical universe and what's happening around us? Looking for one single philosophy, and then the contenders, and then a 5-sentence description of that philosophy. So I asked it that on my personal account, and it sent back unified philosophy of physical and metaphysical reality. Monistic idealism was the answer on my personal account. Monistic idealism. that there is monism, not monastic, not monk-like, but monistic. Monism is oneness, pure oneness. Monistic idealism. Idealism being the projection of the mind, of ideas on top of this monism. So in layman's terms, what it, after the 7 minutes of research, came back with was there is just oneness. And it's a projection of our minds to perceive plurality, which is the classical idealism that European philosophers have talked about for centuries. Kant, Hegel, Berkeley. And Swami actually touches on Berkeley, the Episcopalian priest that had his own version of idealism, as that being the closest thing in Europe to European philosophy to Advaita Vedanta, which monistic idealism, oneness with a projection of plurality. Advaita Vedanta means non-dual end of knowledge. The end of knowledge being non-dual. Non-dual is just another word for oneness. Slight sidebar, why is it called non-dual in the Advaita or many Eastern traditions? Well, it's because within this tradition, there is such an emphasis placed on the precision of every single word. That oneness has this slight flaw in it that it implies there's a border, that there's a boundary to the oneness. Non-dual, not two, has a 5% improvement on that terminology, where it does not imply a border. Oneness has this slight, like I said, flaw that there's an implication that there is or could be a border. Non-dual, not two, does not have such an implication. So that's why it's often referred to as non-duality, but it's also oftentimes just referred to as oneness as well. Rarely called monism, though. That's more of an academic term. So my own personal account says this, monistic idealism, and I'm like, all right, well, I paid $200 a month for this deep research, but it could still be tainted by my own, by my bias, by my previous searches. So I set up a new account and only had one question to ask it. Sign up for the $200 a month, the deep research, the PhD level research, and ask the exact same question. Knowing everything that you know with a culmination of all human knowledge and information, what is a single philosophy that you think describes the physical and metaphysical universe and what's happening around us? Looking for one single philosophy and then the contenders and then a 5-sentence description of the philosophy. So in both times it replied with some clarifying questions. It said, are you looking for an existing philosophical framework that best encapsulates the nature of both the physical and metaphysical universe, or would you like a synthesized philosophy based on all known knowledge? Additionally, do you want the contenders to be historical philosophies, e.g., Stoicism, idealism, materialism, or modern frameworks, simulation theory, emergentism? I said synthesized, so a synthesized philosophy based on all known knowledge. And then I said synthesized and yes to all of the above. And it says, I'll synthesize a comprehensive philosophy that unifies physical and metaphysical aspects of the universe, incorporating knowledge from science, philosophy, and metaphysics. Additionally, I'll provide key contenders, historical and modern, that offer alternative perspectives. Finally, I'll distill the synthesized philosophy into a 5-sentence summary. I'll get back to you shortly with the insights. So it took a few minutes, and then it came back with a unified philosophy of physical and metaphysical reality, an integrated framework, holistic monism. So instead of monistic idealism, this synthesized version that it came up with here, that it's kind of synthesizing everything it knows about quantum mechanics, modern physics, philosophy, science, theology, everything combined. It synthesized it and named it holistic monism. So I'm going to jump into what the summary is and a few of the lines, but so strange that both my personal account and then this other one come up with this view based on all of this AI knowledge, billions and billions of data points, that its own information suggests non-duality, monism, oneness in the midst of an appearance of plurality. Highly recommend you asking ChatGPT or any AI tool the same question, just so that you can ask not only can you read the answers, but ask the follow-up questions, because this is pretty heady stuff, and you've got the most capable mentor in an AI model to ask it clarifying questions. An integrated framework, holistic monism. And I'll link to this in the episode, the show notes, for you to be able to read about this or read this thread on your own. I did, about 3 or 4 days ago, cancel this subscription, separate subscription, because I opened the subscription just for seeing what an unbiased answer would be. But maybe I'll record this in a video and then share the link to the video, so that if this account goes away, there will still be that video where you can read through it. Or if the show notes allow me to, which I don't think they will with this many words, I'll also try copying and pasting it into the show notes. But here we go. This synthesized philosophy can be described as a form of holistic monism, the view that all reality is fundamentally one unified whole, with physical and mental aspects deeply interwoven. It accepts the empirical findings of science and the insights of metaphysics, seeing them as complementary descriptions of the same reality. The framework posits that the universe originates from a single fundamental source or substance that underlies everything, a concept aligned with philosophical monism. Again, similar, that's just another way of saying non-dualism. Both matter and mind are viewed as manifestations or aspects of this one reality, rather than entirely separate realms. Key principles of this integrated philosophy include unity of existence, mind-matter continuum, emergent complexity, and each one of these has like 8 sentences describing each, rational and lawful order, information as fundamental, integration of knowledge, ... In summary, the synthesized holistic monism provides a way to see reality as one. The physical universe with its space-time and energy, and the metaphysical realm of consciousness, mind, and meaning are unified. The world is an evolving, information-rich whole in which matter and mind co-emerge and coexist. Such a philosophy strives to honor scientific evidence and logical reasoning, while also giving due place to subjective experience and existential questions. By doing so, it aims to bridge the gap between the empirical and the spiritual, offering a comprehensive understanding where everything is connected in one reality. So it goes through the historical comparisons, materialism, idealism, stoicism, and how they get close, modern philosophies, simulation theory, which has become so big in Silicon Valley and beyond in the last decade, emergentism, which I didn't even know is a modern philosophical outlook from 20th century. It goes through a bunch, and then it provides this 5-sentence summary. Reality is fundamentally one unified whole, encompassing both the physical universe and the realm of mind and experience. This philosophy holds that all existence emerges from a single ultimate source or substance, from which matter, energy, and consciousness both arise as different aspects. It emphasizes that the physical laws and mental properties are complementary. The cosmos has an intrinsic rational order, as revealed by science, while also containing inherent subjective experience, with neither realm being reducible entirely to the other. So this, again, I'll link to it, to a version of this, but this is with no previous questions. This is the first and only question I asked this account, and ended up asking it a bunch of other questions in this chat. Is Advaita Vedanta a holistic monism philosophy? And it answers yes. Advaita Vedanta is a form of holistic monism, but with a distinct emphasis on the non-dual nature of reality as pure consciousness, rather than a physical or emergent unity. How Advaita Vedanta aligns with holistic monism. Reality is one. aka non-duality. Matter and mind are aspects of the one reality. Emergence and illusion. In holistic monism, complexity, e.g. consciousness, can emerge from fundamental reality, while in Advaita Vedanta, the world emerges as an illusion due to ignorance. The appearance of the multiplicity is not true emergence, but a misperception of the already unified consciousness, known as Brahman. Consciousness as fundamental, interconnection, and transcendence. The key differences, though, that it points out are holistic monism in scientific and Western philosophy often accommodates both matter and mind as real aspects of one reality, so emergent from that one reality that have real aspects, whereas Advaita Vedanta holds that only consciousness is real, the apparent world, including matter and dualistic perception, being just an illusion, emerging from ignorance, not emergent properties of the one reality, but just a misperception. Holistic monism sometimes allows for emergence and complexity, while Advaita Vedanta sees the world as a projection of ignorance, not an emergent phenomenon with its own reality. So Advaita Vedanta would be maybe an even more austere, an even more extreme version of this monism, of this oneness. That this table, this voice of mine that you're listening to is not emergent, it's actually a misperception of what's really going on. That it isn't just oneness unifying the entirety of the universe, but oneness, that unification, that union, that consciousness, that is that oneness, is all that is real. And everything else, like a mirage, like a dream, is an illusion, a misperception of that one true reality. I'll also add that there is, even within Vedanta, even though this isn't real, you can't say that it's unreal. The dream, though it's not real compared to the waking state, there is something happening there. So you can't say it's unreal. I don't want to add too many technical caveats to this episode, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that within this view that this misperception is just an illusion placed on top of, projected on top of reality, you can't say that it's unreal. You cannot say that it's real. But the Upanishads are also clear, saying that you can't claim that it's unreal. The misperception, the illusion, the idea that there is you separate from me, the universe separate from myself, God separate from me, this table, my voice separate from you. That illusion, that separateness is unreal. That separateness is not real. But there is an experience happening. There is consciousness at the base of this entire misperception, this illusion. And at the sake of perhaps getting a bit too technical to round out this topic of what is and what isn't happening, there is something happening, even in the midst of this waking state. Because awareness, consciousness is at the base of this waking state. It's at the base of the dream state. It's at the base of the deep sleep state that we all experience. All three of these we experience every 24 hours. Consciousness is replete, is woven within each of these experiences. But what isn't real is the misperception, the misapprehension that there is a me separate from you. There is an environment separate from me. That is a misapprehension, an illusion. That separateness is unreal. What is real is the monism, the non-duality, the oneness at the base of all of these misperceptions of plurality, of multiplicity, of separateness. Separateness, according to this philosophy, and in terms of continuous studies, oldest philosophy on the planet. It's the oldest continuously studied philosophical idea that the universe is one. And you are it. You are that oneness. It's the oldest philosophical, continuously studied philosophical concept we have. And it appears that the newest innovation that we as humans have come up with a comprehensive culmination of human information and knowledge, with something like AI, concurs. And it is so fascinating to go down the rabbit hole of asking it all of the scientific points, the quantum mechanics, quantum physics that point to a unity in the midst of perceived plurality. It is crazy fascinating just what we have discovered in the last 70 years on this plane of unity, and what appears keeps showing us that at the base of the perceived separateness is just unity. It is so wild. And since questions are sacred within this philosophy of Vedanta, I highly recommend you jumping into any one of these profound tools and start asking it question after question after question and seeing what answers you get. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.